I'm Bob, by the way, and this is Steven, my son.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hi, how you doing? Hey, thanks for making the time for us. We feel like we really know you well, by the way.
I get that a lot.
Yeah. So anyway, great to see you. We are part of Blueprint Training. We have an SEO company that I started about 11 years ago. And I wanted to just tell you that congratulations on an excellent program. We love it. You've put a lot of time and effort and thought into it, and we use it as our Bible today. So it's been very productive for us. It's been very beneficial on many fronts. We hardly have mastered it, believe me, because it's so comprehensive. But I will tell you that it helps us a lot in the execution on the SEO side, as well as the marketing side. I do a lot of the marketing. So just being well versed in being able to discuss a lot of the details, whether somebody's a very accomplished SEO person or they're a novice, either way, it allows us to be very confident in terms of the way that we approach the business in more ways than ever before. So I applaud you for what you've put together, and thank you for offering the program out to agencies like us. We're very happy about that.
No, I appreciate it. You don't have to thank me too much because I do get paid to be here. So, so talk to me. What can I do? What can I do for you guys today?
Hold on one second. Do you need me? Okay. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, no, just, I think that there were a couple of things. We wanted to talk to you about just the approach and the stuff that you're seeing out there, Ryan, in the industry, especially in the midst of this COVID-19 situation. The world has certainly changed. I will say that online marketing has become more important than ever before. Sure. But we're just curious because you see a lot, you talk to a lot of agencies and businesses. What are you seeing out there, and where do you see perhaps some of the huge opportunity going forward with the situation that we're confronted with, which could last another 2 years or so?
For sure. So before I do that, because I want to tailor it to your agency specifically, tell me a little bit more about you guys, who you service, staff, right, what you offer, etc.
Okay. So Need SEO is the name of the agency. And we are pretty much a digital marketing agency. We focus on two primary products. One is SEO and the other is PPC. So, it's all the Google page stuff, right? We get attorneys that come to us. A lot of attorneys are very competitive. They make a lot of money, but yet, they have to rank. They don't know how they can compete with the top people in their area. So a lot of them will do PPC. But they also need a branding awareness, so they will turn to us and say, hey, can you do both our SEO as well as PPC? And we have businesses that are all walks of life. I know you talked about niching. I wish we were better at niching, but honest to God, we've used more of a shotgun approach, and we've taken on different clients from different walks of life. Honest to God.
But do you have enough in you've been doing this for 11 years now. Would you be able to go back and look at your entire portfolio, crosswalk that portfolio with industries right now that are surging, and put together a few very choice case studies? Like, the thing about the niche is that some people think that they have to tear down everything and rebuild a new website. You don't really. It's just about how you communicate that, right?
Right.
We're very much so generalists, but I tell when I'm pitching people that are in the B2B space or lead gen space, I go really hard on the fact that we are niche specific. We only work with B2B, even though that's not necessarily the case, right?
Right.
So would you be able to go back into your portfolio of clients and find similarities in industry? And then again, like I said, obviously, to answer the first part of your question right now, local SEO is not a place you want to be into for the foreseeable future, just because, I'm starting to see some good things coming in the news about how we're flattening. The president yesterday said they're going to start opening. We don't know when that's actually going to happen, right? But even if they open tomorrow, there's still going to be a massive impact on local businesses because people just aren't going to be fully comfortable until there's vaccine.
Right.
So I would just say right off the bat, anything local or brick and mortar, just forget about it for the time being.
Agreed, yes.
It's going to take at least a year for that whole local business to rebound, right? But there are a ton of industries that are surging right now. We have to be very careful because a lot of people think that online fitness or the distance fitness and home fitness is surging now. Let me go pitch those people. It's not really, because imagine if you're in their shoes, they're probably getting people, right? So what we want to do again is we really want to go through and make sure that we're in a good position to break through that noise and talk to those people. So I guess to reiterate the first question, do you have in your 11 years enough, at least 3 clients in the same space that you've gotten results for in a digital and online capacity space?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I would say that would be step one, would be to, again, I'm not telling you to rebuild your agency, but to figure out some sort of communication niche that you can put together case studies for, build a page on your website, whether that's, I don't know, like fitness, whatever that may be, list those out and just get people to that page and send people to that page. Right.
Right.
So something that we're doing a lot. So like, first of all, for us, we haven't really seen a major impact with our agency yet. Again, I still think that we went through this phase where the first 2 weeks, everyone was like, I don't even know if I can talk about business right now because this is so crazy. We've
Right.
leveled off from that, right? I think companies are now adjusted, and now we're saying this is a new normal. How do we move forward? So we're definitely at a place now where it's okay to talk about collecting invoices from people. It's okay to go out and solicit new business. Whereas a month ago, that wasn't the case, right? So for us, we've been fortunate. We don't work with local businesses, so we haven't lost any clients. Our pipeline has definitely dried up. We've gotten only a few inbound leads. Fortunately, those leads closed because the people that are in the market right now, they know what it is. They know COVID's going on, and they're soliciting agencies because they want to be aggressive, right?
Right.
So, we've been kind of taking the approach. Rand Fishkin did a really good whiteboard Friday 2 weeks ago. I've been using that as kind of like my ammunition to send to people because he's a respected, also like very kind of passive person in the industry. Usually I was expecting him to be like, no, don't do this. Like, it's very sensitive, but he was like, look, in times of recession, there's data that shows the companies that invest grow. While everyone is standing still, taking a breath. If you're just taking steps, you're sprinting, right? So now is a good time for companies that can do it to invest in marketing because again, everyone else is at a standstill.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that one of the things that I found that is really important now is to offer a helping hand. Like offer like we're a free resource.
Yep.
So we go on LinkedIn and I have a program that we use the Sales Navigator, which I know you talk about, and we're able to crawl like verified emails.
Yep.
So we send out these campaigns like on a drip campaign, and we're basically saying, hey, listen, we're offering you a free resource. Let us come talk to us about your journey or your trials and tribulations online. And if we can help you in any way, great. If we can't, hey, stay safe and have a nice day. That kind of a thing.
So I think even more than if you really want to see, me and David, my partner, literally talk about this literally right now on Slack for Coding is for Losers, which is our agency that we're really looking to build now. Basically, all the tools that you see in the blueprint are from him. We have another company that we're really working on building that just does that, plus some more advanced stuff for agencies only, right? So we're doing a lot of outbound right now. Literally what I was talking about in that video training, I'm sure you guys have seen it now, just as you mentioned, how to do outbound, and it's working really well, but it's working really well because I'm sending one email, like literally one. It's painful, it's tedious, but so kind of to your point, like I love that you're taking that helpful approach because I think in a time like this, I don't want to say discount your services, but we're going to have to do more work to collect those services, right? So
agreed.
I mean, I didn't even talk about this, but first and foremost, your existing clients are the most important thing. If you can not churn right now and just maintain, that's a huge win. It's a huge win. There's a lot of agencies that are bleeding clients,
Yes.
and it's tough. So if you can run lean, if you can keep your clients, and again, focus on going deep with them, how can we position ourselves to be indisposable to them? Then that's a huge win. On top of that, the cold outreach to a very, very targeted list of people. Again, I would only be sending them. The first thing you need to do is, again, put together your niche package. So what we're doing with David's company right now, we're only going after agencies. We're only going after agencies too that we've reviewed their blog and they're talking about data analytics and automation. And we're basically going to them and saying, hey, I just read this case study that you did. You're talking about target, how you like increase their search. Like we have a dashboard that will automate that for you. Like imagine how much money and time that would save you. And we're just sending that to them. And we're sending 10 a week. That's it. And then of those 10 people, they're so highly qualified. I know in my mind, if they just see the email, I can help them. Right. So I'm taking that approach. That's not just kind of a shotgun approach, spreading it out to as many people as possible and seeing what comes in. I'm going to 10 people that I know have 80 employees or more, that I know are working in the space, that I know can afford our services. I know that without a doubt. And I'm going to them and I'm just annoying the crap out of them until they get back to me, because in my mind, I know that I can help them and save them money right now. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the approach that people have to take to outbound right now. So again, put together your package. What is that niche that you can service? What niche do you know right now without a shadow of doubt in your mind? If they pay you, you will make them more money. that's that's the small cluster of people you want to be focusing on. And you just want to go all in on that. So we're taking a whole week now. We're emailing those people. I'm emailing them every day, following up every day.
Nice. Hey, Ryan, are you using a drip campaign for that, or you're doing one by one?
Yeah. So I just published, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, within the sales module, I published a cold outbound, basically how to build a cold pipeline within the blueprint. Yep. Really, really good stuff. Again, now I think it's a good time to look into it because we all have more time on our hands. I would never do this shit during normal times, pardon my French, during normal times, because I have too much going on. I'm on the phone nonstop, I'm running around, but now hours have cleared up. It's also acceptable now to be sitting in front of my computer for 12 hours a day.
Exactly.
There's nothing else to do. So I'm able to I spend the first hour of my day just writing emails to people. That's it. It's really that simple, right? And again, I'm taking that approach because if I know you, Bob, and I know what your company does, and I've been to your website 20 times, and I know in my heart of hearts that I can help you, it doesn't really feel like bothering to me, And I get pitched all the time. Like people pitch me all the time, and I'm willing to work with people. They just don't come proper. They don't do the research on me. They don't know who I am. They don't know what I stand for. But if you can do that, dude, you can break through the noise and you can get clients. Yeah. And again, it's not about that mass shotgun approach. It's about finding a small cluster of people that are qualified, can pay, are having, you don't have to address that. You don't have to be like, hey, online fitness is surging now. They know that, but you can be like, hey, look I've been doing this for 11 years. I've helped a lot of companies like yours. Here's 3, boom, boom, boom. Like, give me 5 minutes of your time. I'm going to tell you how I can make you money right now.
Gotcha.
It's really hard to turn that down. And I don't think it's bad to be aggressive right now because it's like half the people you might annoy and piss off, but the other half people that are looking to double down and grow right now, they're going to be like, hell yeah, Bob, let's go. It works. We just actually we sent 10 emails this week. We've already closed 2 really big deals for David's company off of that, just nice. Like that. So it works, so kind of address your initial question about like what I'm seeing, what's happening is that, your existing clients are the most important thing right now. Number 2 is to use the additional time that we have to spend a little bit more time with people that you can help, right? Again, so you have the right mindset of trying to help people right now, but shit, we got to make money too, so we don't want to spend all of our time like, again, I think in cold outreach, a lot of issues that people have is that they either they send a terrible pitch or they try and do too much for free. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll do a whole audit for free. And then the client's like, cool, thanks.
See you later.
Yeah. So I talk a lot about that. I talk about dangling the carrot, about how to send an email that makes people like, it's all about getting them to take the next very small step. First step is getting them to open email. Second step is getting them to respond to the email. Third step is getting some sort of communication. Fourth step is getting intro. You know what I'm saying? Like keep dangling that carrot using copy and keeping that ace in the hole. Just like you would with an advertising campaign, so to speak, to drive them into your funnel. And it works, man. It does work.
Yeah, I do know that if I get just a response in any way, like unless they say unsubscribe, then we're pretty far along because I know that if I can get them on the telephone and have a conversation, then I can get into an engaging situation with them where, hey, I'm not selling you anything, just like let's talk.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, it's going to take on its own life. And I know that we're going to be pretty good at closing the deal, Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think now I had a great Facebook Live yesterday with a guy who runs an SEO consultancy. I'll be posting it to my YouTube channel later this week, but it's on my Facebook page if you want to check it out. It's pretty good because we were talking a lot about the stuff too and what he's doing. I think it's great that you're doing this. I think it's really smart I think people have kind of like hesitant to like, what should I ask people? Like, what are people doing? But again, I think now we're at the point where everyone's like, this is what it is now. You know what I'm saying? And like, we're business owners. We got to move forward. So I spoke to him about it yesterday and he was talking about how he's adjusted his services to be much more training focused. Again, like I agree with this, right? We're seeing, imagine if you have a company and you're paying an agency $5,000 a month. It's easy to just make the agency just kind of like, we're going to furlough, we can't pay you right now. Right. But it's a lot harder to do that to internal people. So they already have those people. They want to keep them. They want to pay them. So basically what he's saying, he's doing is he's saying, oh, look, you don't have to pay me for the service anymore, but you can pay me for 5 hours a week to work with your team to give them this knowledge. Like, let me teach them how to fish. Right. So in a sense, he's kind of cutting off the long term, but he's really helping by building that short term. And he's a lot less work for him too. So he's making more money doing less work, and it's a much more scalable model. It's basically what I'm doing with the blueprint. He's just customizing it, right? So
they get to see kind of what he's made of, and then they may bring him on as a outside third-party consultant later. whatever.
Exactly. And he's building a good relationship with them. He's doing good by them. He understands the landscape of what's going on now. He's not like, again, it's not that I don't want to push a $10,000 contract on someone, but I'm not pushing as hard now. You know, I'm not giving the same pitches because I understand, dude, you know, like I just understand. But if, again, you can still find a way to add that same level of value, you know, just understanding that's why these one-to-one emails are so important, because you get a response from them and you can communicate back the right way, you know. But when you send a massive blast email, it doesn't connect the same way, you know.
Right.
Like, people want to feel like we're in this together. People want to feel like we're not taking advantage of the situation, which we're not. You know, we're just running our businesses, and again, we do believe we can help people. So I don't see that as a bad thing, right? But again, the communication right now and how we do that and what we're offering, and again, not changing your service per se, but with changing a little bit differently just to adjust to these times to get through this period. And then once that's over, then, you know, I do believe in the next couple, like, I think by summertime, we'll start to see much more of an open economy. I think, again, I hate saying I think, because I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but like, just from the credible sources, which is a very rare thing these days that I've seen. I do think that in the like a month from now, we'll be having a completely different conversation. You know, I think right now we're kind of at the peak of this, assuming.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I just saw today that they're opening up the Jacksonville beaches this weekend or today. Oh, wow. And I'm like, I was shocked by that, actually. I'm in Tampa.
It's a little bit aggressive, but
yeah, I think so. I just think that if it spikes again, and then, you know, we haven't even seen the spike yet here in Florida. So I'm in Tampa. So yeah.
Oh, you're in Tampa? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm in Miami. And it's one of those things where, you know, my opinion on it is this: is that, like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. All I know is that if I stay inside, I'll be fine. And once I kind of adjusted to that, and I'm already a homebody, I work from home all the time anyways, but now that I have so much more time, like, man, the amount of stuff that we've gotten done this last month, it's been like 6 months worth of like internal projects that we really
I feel the same way.
You know, and again, to this outbound pipeline is something that I used to work for big agencies. I've talked to a lot of very successful agency owners all the time. And one thing is common is that they don't rely on inbound leads. They just don't. They go out and they hunt, because they know who they can help. They can target the type of companies that they want. They know that, like the 10 people that I'm talking to this week, I don't have to have the conversation about, like, is this in your budget? Because I know it is. I know how much you guys are killing it, you know? So then it's just about, how can I prove my value to you? So it's much different, you know? It's a lot longer of a sales process, but again, you have the right people there. And then again, talking about a niche is that you just build your own niche because you're only targeting the right people, right? As opposed, that's the problem with inbound. I'm the same way. So many people come to us, we're generalists, but it kind of hurts us because I'm not able to build the right case studies. You know, people ask me, like, we get attorneys all the time, and I don't really like working with attorneys for a lot of reasons, but I don't have any case studies, so that the attorney will not work with us because we don't have any case studies or references for attorneys. So not having that kind of, like, it's really hurt us in a small sense. We get so many leads that it kind of makes up for it. But yeah, I mean, like, now that we're really executing on this outbound stuff, and when you do it the right way and you just understand that it's just like going to a networking event, but you're online, so it's easier and you can sit from
easier, right? Now, do you go to sales, Ryan, do you go to Sales Navigator and then you, like, kind of niche down and find second, third connections and then try to do it that way, figure out the size of the company, partner, owner?
Yeah. So basically, again, definitely watch that video, but in a nutshell, we have an offshore guy. He's the one who, like, writes the blogs for the Blueprint. He's a good writer. He's a good communicator. Actually found him in the Blueprint. I think it's like $12 an hour. Really good, really smart, awesome dude. But what he does is we just like we do for link building, we just use LinkedIn Sales Navigator I give him inputs. So I tell him, like, the company has to be 50 employees or more in the US and they have to do SEO. So I give him those 3 inputs, and then I teach him in the training. I just gave him the training in the Blueprint. It teaches you how to find the right person within that organization. Like, at a big company, you don't want to be talking to the CEO. You want to find a marketing, you want to find somebody who's the right contact. So I walk through all that, but yeah, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is the core of it. There's also some other tools that you can use. Another one is Built With. I don't know if you've heard of it. What Built With does is, it's a website, builtwith.com. It's a really good prospecting tool because it will allow you to prospect based on technology. So, like, if a website is running on WordPress, if it's running on Magento, you know, just by having that insight, then you know what you can pitch them to. So if you only want to go after e-com, you can use BuiltWith to find brands that are running on a very specific website. So what I did at my old agency From the Future, we were a big technical SEO agency. So I wrote a really good blog post about Demandware SEO. It's a very advanced e-commerce platform. And it was like 10 things to know about like Demandware for SEO. I then took that blog post and I used BuiltWith to build a list of people. And then I was just sending that blog post to marketing managers being like, hey, I know you guys run on Demandware. I just wrote this blog post. You might find it interesting. And then I would follow up a week later or 2 days later and be like, hey, I could see if they click. I'll be like, saw you checked out the article. And also too, mind you, if they go to our website, they're getting remarketed too. So it's another way to kind of like, just build,
right.
So yeah, then I would just follow up and be like, hey, do you have any questions on the article? I'm happy to make myself available and talk to your team about it. That's it, So there's a million different ways to skin a cat. And there's LinkedIn is great for it. BuiltWith is great too. I mean, there's just a million ways to do it. It just takes time. That's the reason why people usually don't do it. But once you kind of get it and you realize that, like, I think we've just been beaten to death by spammers that do it the wrong way, that we think it's a bad method, but it's amazing. If you do it the right way,
We're using a thing called Get Prospect, and Get Prospect kind of works with Sales Navigator. So once you get a list of, let's say, that vertical that you're looking at, and then they'll say, let's say you have 69 contacts. What you do is you can actually take that and extract your verified emails. Nice. So you're taking them outside of LinkedIn and be able to sell, go directly to their outside email. So it doesn't look like it's just an in-message thing at LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, I give 4 methods in the training for prospecting. One is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. One is just using like Google Search. Another one is using BuiltWith. And there's a 4th one that's called GrowBots. It's very similar to what you just said. GrowBots is really good. It's kind of expensive, but it pulls in BuiltWith API. It pulls in from Sales Navigator. So you can do all the prospecting in there, clean your list, and then they charge you and then it has an email automation in there too. So you can just use kind of like an all-in-one sales platform. It's pretty expensive. It's like couple $100 a month, I think, but it's legit. I mean, if you're looking for something, it's a really good tool. I talk about all that in the training. Definitely something that you guys should check out.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. We are also using an intern to, on the ones where we can't get verified emails, they're actually going on Google, like kind of the old fashioned way, but it's amazing how many emails you can actually find doing it that way.
For sure. It works. So, it works. Again, it's just sweat equity. That's all it really takes.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's great. So Steven, I know that Steven, actually, by the way, Steven's my son, and he's gotten so much out of like what you in your program, and it's taken him into a whole different level of SEO. So I know he had a couple of questions, and
fire
he
away,
admires you a lot.
I know I bother you a lot on Slack as well.
No, it's all good. That's what I'm here for.
Questions. Yeah. So just in terms of like link building, I know you guys don't do that like in-house totally. So like, how do you guys like end up like pricing that out? Is it
good question. So basically what I'll do is I'll usually charge 4 hours a month. Just using that you've seen the campaign pricing template that we have in the blueprint, the spreadsheet.
I have.
So I just add in 4 hours a month. I add in 8 hours a month in month 3 for like an audit, kind of like a strategy. And then after that, it's just 4 hours a month. And we're telling them that we're charging them for like outreach, which kind of we're doing, kind of we're not, depending on how you look at it. So I don't know if you guys are Seinfeld watchers, but there's a great line in that show. It's not a lie if you believe it. So I believe that we're doing outreach and prospecting because we're doing it. To me, the ends justifies the means here, right? So we're getting a list of prospects that we would the same way that we'd be doing if we're doing outreach. We're just using a contract to do it. But I'm telling them we're doing prospecting, outreach, and that we're delivering you a list of opportunities every month, and you're going to pay whatever that expense fee is. So really, I have to charge for that time because I do have somebody who's building, like it's still work, right? They still have to go in, build, like clean the list that our vendor gives us, price them out, send them to the client, back and forth for approval. It's about 4 hours worth of work. We charge $200 an hour for it, but it's quite a bit of work. So that's how we do it. So we try to get like $800 a month for that in retainer, and then just pass on the link cost to the client. So we're basically getting paid to help them manage the link building. So if you think about it too, it's actually not that unfair. I mean, our hourly rate is higher, but if you were to go to a normal client and be like, hey, like this vendor is really great, but it's still a lot of work to manage it. It's not something where that like they do it for you, right? You still have to find the target pages. You still got to clean the list of prospects because not everything that they deliver to you is quality. So if someone were to see a video like this of mine online, which has happened to me before, this is kind of the juxtaposition between running a training company and running an agency, is that there's a lot of things we do as an agency behind the scenes that I publish publicly that leads come in and they'll be like, hey, I saw that you buy links. Are you just going to buy my links? And I'm like, well, yeah. So what I tell them if they see that is I'm like, you can go and do it yourself, or you can pay us to manage it because we're already in the flow. We know what we're doing. They're like, yeah, that's fine. Like, we don't want to deal with it. So that's what we do. I charge 4 hours a month for that. And then however many links we get from the vendor, whatever that costs us, I tack that onto the invoice at the end of every month.
Ryan, that's a great point on the links. How do you describe to your people sort of like the value of a quality link? Because like links, I mean, we all get it. We understand the relevance of it, but it's kind of like cosmic to a lot of people. Yeah. Like, oh, like, what do I need links for? And how do I know that links are working for me? You know, like that kind of a thing, because I'm sure everybody asks that question.
Yeah. So two things. Number one, and this is why Outbound is really good, because people who usually ask that question is like, dude, I had a friggin' sales call this week with this woman who her company killed it. They were doing 10 million a year in revenue, growing, 2-year-old company, killing it. But like, she didn't understand, like she knew she needed SEO, but she didn't understand anything about it. And I found myself on the call, baby stepping her through everything. And I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? Look, you've done a great job with your company, but I just don't think this is a good fit for us. Like, we need somebody on the other end who understands the value of what we're doing. Because when you fully go through this whole SEO thing, you realize that there's agencies out there that are peddling traffic and rankings. I don't want to get caught up in that because I can't guarantee that. And I'm not going to sell that to someone, put that in a contract, and then have them kill my brand online, explode the relationship, kill my staff when they're like, it's not worth it. Right.
Right.
So there's a word that I use called sophistication. Right. And that sophistication means they understand SEO. They understand the basic concepts of keyword research, the need for technical, the need for content, the need for links. If they don't understand that, I know that it's probably not going to be a good fit. So if I'm sitting there on the phone with people, I'll always go through my pitch. My pitch is all based on the blueprint, the 5 phases. I tell them, look so one of the things I ask them on a sales call, I ask them about their business. We talk for 10 minutes. And then I say, how did you find us? So I know if they saw like a video, whatever, so I can prepare myself so I don't lie to them. And then I say, okay, let me tell you a little bit about how we operate. And then I say, how familiar are you with SEO? And they'll be like, 6 out of 10. I say, okay, let me break it down to you in what we call the 5 phases, right? So, and then I walk them through each one of the 5 phases. And I explain to them what we do in that phase, the time period for that phase, and why it's important. Phase 4 is always links. So I just tell them, look at Google still looks at links as one of the most important ranking factors. It's also the reason why most websites get penalized. So it's something we have to be careful of. And then I just tell them how we do outreach. I tell them how they have access to it, how we're very open, we're transparent. So that's generally how I explain it to them. If they don't get that, like I said, then, I just know that it's not going to be a good fit because, again, the problem with the shotgun approach too is I've been there before. What ends up happening is it's not just about getting revenue in the door. It's also about how that revenue performs when they're at the agency, right? Because we have to get paid every month. We still have to work for that. And if they're overworking us every month, if they're beating down my staff, my PMs, it's not worth it, And that usually happens because they don't like the expectations were not fully set up front, which is our fault. And that's also because we didn't fully communicate what we're doing, and we didn't get that reciprocation from them that they understand what we're doing, right? So I do have that conversation. I walk them through the 5 phases, and I just kind of feel it out. Like, is this something that down the line, like, is this going to be one of those people that's, number one, doesn't like, if they don't know about links, that's fine, but as long as they don't bust their balls about it, right? So like, if they're like, okay, that makes sense, I'm good with that. I then explain to them the link fee, how that works, our time works. So I like really on my initial consultation call, really break it down, like, even if they're an expert, like in simple plain English, because setting those expectations right there and getting them to be like, yeah, that's cool, is super important. Because then also too, the amount of time you spend on a proposal, like all that stuff, it's not worth it if you guys aren't on the same page. So that's the way I approach it. I explain it the same way to everyone, but I am very adamant about understanding what their understanding of the entire SEO spectrum is. And then I break it down for them. If they, like this woman I had a call with, she still couldn't grasp it. And that's when I was like, look, we've already spent an hour on the phone together and you're still not getting the value of our services. I don't think we're right for you. Because again, if someone like that, they're only going to be looking at traffic and rankings, and they're not going to be appreciating the work we're doing, the keyword research, the phone call conversations, the monthly reports. I want somebody who looks at our deliverables that are in the blueprint and being like, that's what I'm paying for. Like, that's why I hired you guys, So
do you push link building like forward if they have like a lower DA, for example? Like, do you
I'm sorry, repeat that.
If they have like a lower DA, would you push their link building process like to the beginning of the process, or it's just kind
We
of?
usually start it in month 3. Again, like you've seen how we operate now. We're like freaking McDonald's here. You know what I'm saying? We don't really break our process unless you're going to pay us significantly more. So a large majority of the proposals that go out now are within $1,000 of difference between each other, you know, and that's on purpose too, because I don't like to have a client on board that's 12 grand and everyone else is 2 grand. Because if that client leaves, you know, it's a whole, and you find yourself servicing that client more. So the point is we usually start link building month 3, maybe 4, depending on the website. Again, too, now that we're getting more outbound, we're getting more websites that I prefer to work with a website that has a good base. Because honestly, if you're working with a brand new website and you're just hitting them with vendor links, like it's probably not going to go well, you know? But if you have a website that has a good base, that's invested in PR, or I'll tell them too. Sometimes if they're in that case, we won't do link building. We'll just do like the core SEO, and I'll tell them you have to work with a PR agency. You know, it's going to cost you $3 to $5 grand a month, and we'll work with them to make sure that everything's cool. But like, so like we won't do link building for everyone, because again, because it's only $800 for us. If it's not going to drive that much value for the client, it's not worth the headache for us. And I'm adamant about that up front. I tell them like, yo, links are still 50% of the equation, but you need a PR company because this is a brand new website, you know? So on a lower DA website, it's PRs, like you got to go with PR if they can buy into that. You know, if not, then it is what it is.
Yeah, good point.
Totally makes sense.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, we're in touch with someone, Ryan, who actually they're doing an interesting model on links where they're working with colleges and universities on like a scholarship program, and then you know they're getting edu.edu links, right, which are really pretty powerful. So you know that's one thing that we've come across. But anyway, no, I appreciate the insight on that because that's really important. I mean, it's a holy grail.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't, Steven, you have anything else that you want to ask Ryan or anything else? But Ryan, we really appreciate your time, and you know, I mean, it's tremendous. We're just babies in the wood right now, but we're growing. We may have been at this 11 years, but honestly, I feel like having met you and your program, we've revamped a lot, and we've taken a lot of stuff and said, you know what, this stuff needs to be in the woodshed, and we need to bring this to the fore because this stuff really works well. And I appreciate everything that you're doing, and you're still staying at it all the time and keeping us current, which I appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love this business. I dedicate most of my time to this because it's so much better working with people like yourself who, like I said, it's a similar thing like working with a client. You guys understand and appreciate the time and effort that we put into these deliverable templates for you guys and how we break it down. And most clients don't. They see it, they're like, great. But the level of reciprocation that I get from working with agencies, that's why like our agency right now is not really a focus. We just work with clients because they want to pay us, and it's hard not to. But like David's company, like we only want to work with agencies going forward with Blueprint, Coding is for Losers, and then the software that we're getting ready to launch. We just want to work with agencies. That's it. And I can't wait till we get to the point where, you know, Weber's again, I can either like kind of sell it off or just chop it up for parts and just move on from it.
Let us know when you're looking to sell it, because I actually spent 32 years on Wall Street in New York.
Oh, nice.
So, so if you're looking for like investors and people like that are involved in that level of stuff, we're happy to bring it to the table for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I will.
Do you do any affiliate like stuff? Like let's say we want to bring people in and say, hey, you got to go to Blueprint. Yeah. How does that work?
So if you, I'll send you a link, or if you just go to the Blueprint website, they scroll all the way to the footer. There's a link for affiliates.
Okay.
We pay 20%. All you have to do is it's within our platform. You just get a link. We love our affiliates. I'm actually surprised that more people don't take advantage of it. I wish they did. It's just never been something we've really pushed for people.
It's a layup.
Yeah. The other option too is if you refer someone, they don't go through the link, just make sure to let them know that you referred them, and I'll just cut you the check. I mean, it's $600, you know, it's a good amount of money.
That's good. No, I'd love to do that. And even talk about you on our website, where, you know, I'm proud to say, hey, listen, this is like part of our tribe. So it works, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff. Just trying to think if there's anything else that I had. You mentioned something about websites, and also we'll come across some people who have like really shitty websites, right? Like they'll be on GoDaddy or whatever and stuff like that. How do you decipher kind of like that? Because we know that the back end of GoDaddy doesn't work, right? So what do you do? I mean, we want to get them to WordPress or Magento or whatever. So
so we We do web design now too. We only do dev into WordPress. So I'll kind of insist if they come in. That's the good thing about doing design and SEO is that if I feel like a website isn't ready for SEO yet, I'll really sell them on a website. And we do them for pretty cheap too in the grant. Like we'll build a website for 10 to 12 grand, like all custom, all in WordPress. So we do them at very, very competitive prices, comparatively. Like the agency I was part with was like a $60,000 minimum, which is really hard to sell. But so we'll basically rebuild the website over a couple months, charging $2.5 grand a month over 4 months, and then transition to SEO after that. And I'll just completely tell them that. I'll be like, we can't, like, I want to help you for marketing, but like until the foundation is proper, we can't. And then I'll also sell them on the fact too that, hey, if you let us build your website, we're going to take care of like the keyword research and stuff. So like, we're not going to be duplicating efforts. So like basically when we're done, we'll just move right into content marketing and link building. As opposed to like spending an extra 2 months on keyword research, tech SEO, all that stuff. So we'll kind of get that all done in one swoop, which is usually how we can sell people on that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Very cool. How about PPC? Are you doing, I mean, I know your thing is, but no PPC. Okay. I was just curious.
No, I've been pushed hard to do Facebook ads for people because we advertise so much, but it's not something I've got an interest in because in my opinion, there's too much creative work that goes into Facebook. And like most companies don't have the means or the wherewithal to want to create video or want to invest. Like if you don't want to create your own video, you have to pay someone else to do it. And that's just really expensive. So I've never really found out the happy medium for how to do just advertising. And I've never run AdWords myself. I've always outsourced that to contractors. So not something I'm confident in selling. But I do believe that SEO and pay-per-click go hand in hand.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
For sure.
It's almost like a cat and dog issue, but they still animals.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I've kind of toyed with in the past is kind of going out and maybe finding a partner who can do pay-per-click in-house for us and really build out like the blended or universal search model where that to me is where like you can, the problem with like the great thing about SEO agencies is that you get paid up front, you get paid on faith to the fact that you're going to get them results, which is amazing. And people are patient. If you sell them the right way, they're willing to pay you for 6 months without seeing any results. It's pretty amazing if you think about it. But SEO agencies do have a revenue cap, in my opinion. Like if you get to 10 million as an SEO agency, you're killing it. But you've also probably done something else, not just SEO. You're either like really advanced technical SEO, you built some really awesome software, or you've leveraged, like I said, that blended search approach. Because if you can get somebody to pay you $5 grand a month for SEO, they can pay you another $5 for pay-per-click plus the ad spend on top of that, and you can really grow them, right? In a lot of companies, it does make sense when you're pitching them to be like, anything keyword related, we should be handling. Like you don't need 2 agencies to do SEO and pay-per-click. They should be done by the same one.
Agreed.
So it's just never been something, like I said, like growing the agency is at this point kind of secondary to us because I just love working with Blueprint so much, and the stuff we're working on with David is just more, the cap is better, but we're making 50 a month for Weber's and just ridiculous margins with very few employees. So it's just a model of the SEO agency model is just something I can't get off of because it's so good and it's very reliable. 7 years later, it's still
that's fantastic. That's really great. If there's anything ever in PPC that we can help you with in any way, please reach out to us and we'll guide you in the right direction or whatever. But we do a lot of PPC, so just so you know, we're happy to help you or happy to work with you, whatever comes through first. Yeah, I
will for sure.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for your time. Pleasure meeting you.
You too.
And
thank you so much, Ryan.
Anytime, guys.
Yeah, and once again, let's stay in touch for sure, and we'll keep you posted on the developments and things that we talked about. And that was you mentioned some great points as far as putting us in a direction that I think makes a ton of sense right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, stay healthy, stay safe.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Take care.
Be well.